From here, I'm ready now, but I'm worried pricing will come down. Should I wait to buy a Carlsbad home? People ask this all the time, believe it or not. A lot, because the media tells us that there is a housing crash that is right around the corner. And if you're following into the hedge fund guys, they're forecasting that, hey, the market is crazy. Don't buy right now, and they're not wrong. They're not right. It just is what it is. But I want to show you a couple stats, specifically how it pertains to Carlsbad. So this is new listings by month, and this is back since 2001. So just after COVID started, and what you can immediately see here is that Carlsbad's real estate market is very cyclical. Middle part of the year, it explodes. During the winter part, it just comes to a grinding halt. So, from my thing to you, there's not a lot of inventory in the winter months, but that's also a very good opportunity for a deal if that's important to you. Even though there's low inventory, we still have tactics to identify people that want to sell that maybe aren't on the market. Nobody wants to have like open houses during Thanksgiving. That's pretty much why that happens. But you can clearly see that we've got a mid-year rush goes down, mid-year rush goes down. This year's no different. April, we had a drop in May, which is not normal. June went up. I'm expecting July to have another drop, believe it or not, and I'll tell you why in a second. So that's new listings that have hit the market. This is total listings. This is a really weird stat. July of last year, we had 470, which is the most we've seen in a long time. Actually, that number is pretty normal pre-COVID. So it looked like we were back into a normal market, but then a year later, here we are, June 265, June last year, 447. So a significant drop. This is interest rate hangover, is definitely what it is, right? So definitely we're still within an inventory. I wouldn't call it a crunch, but definitely much lower than you're used to. Pending sales, again, you can see very cyclical. Pending sales are going up. This is great. So June, we had 139. June of last year, we had 105. So that's good. But another 25 pendings this year over last year. Closed sales, again, very, very, very stable. 124 last month. I think next month's going to be a little bit more. We'll see. Don't look at closed sides. That's a little bit of a loaded number. And then average sales price. So you can clearly see 2021, we were at about $1 million. And then here we are at 2026, 1,700,000. So about 5 years, we've almost doubled. We've gone up about 75%, which is great for equity growth, but it is a lot more expensive now to live here than it was in 2021. So are we going to go from 1,744 or last month 1,542? There may have been some record sales in there that manipulated that number. Are we going to go from 1,744 and then plummet down to like 1.4? No, that's not going to happen, right? Largely depends on what part of the year you buy the home and what type of home you're looking for. Some of the bigger homes, 4,500 plus square feet, have a lot more variance in pricing. There's some record sales that we've had lately here in Carlsbad that are kind of skewing the numbers a little bit. The lower market, it's pretty stable. If you're looking for a condo in the 700 to 900 range, it's a very stable. Turn that on, actually. Yeah, you can see. I mean, there's not a whole lot. Like, obviously, there was some crazy variance last year, and again, this is all market volatility or market cycles throughout of it. There's not a lot that close, but on a condo at 151, whereas last month it was 931. So, that market 800 to 1,200,000 in the condo market is it's pretty strong. Single family alone, same thing, about 1.3 in January of 2021, and now we're hovering around 2 million. So it's, again, that $700,000 price increase over there. It's up. Do I think that's going to go down? Probably not. Month supply of inventory, we're still hovering at about 2. So that's why I said, if your home's on the market for 45 days, you don't have an offer right now, don't freak out. I think that's totally normal. It's weird to say that we're in a market to where 2 months on the market seems like a long time. I remember 18 years ago when we sold homes in 4 months, we were ecstatic about it, right? So it's weird to see how all that we got up to as many as 5 months last summer, which was crazy, and that's just because we had 480 listings on the market. So my answer to you, I'm ready to buy now, but I'm worried pricing will come down. Should I wait? Here's my short answer. If you need to buy a home in Carlsbad and you know that you're going to want to sell it within 2 years, is there a likelihood to where the value of that home could be less than it is now? The answer is not no. However, statistically speaking, I don't know that we can go back, at least in the last 25 years, 2 years, other than maybe the downturn. And even then, kind of shaky. But to go back 2 years and it would seem like real estate dropped 2 years later. The downturn that definitely happened back then. But with how high interest rates are and how high pricing is, it could be possible that in 2 years you may not make money, and it would still probably be better than renting. But if you know you're on that level, that number of turn cycle, I would probably rent. I don't know that I would buy just for, 1.5, 2, maybe even 3 years. I think everybody that at almost any price point that buys right now in Carlsbad that has at least a 7 year hold trajectory. I don't think there's a way you can get hurt at all unless you're buying like a really, really old condo that's at the end of its life, and which there aren't too many of those here in Carlsbad. But if you're buying a single family home and you're planning on holding it at least for 6 or 7 years, there's no way that you're going to look back today and say, "Oh, I wish I would have bought a year earlier or a year later." I really don't think you're going to feel it, mainly because largely, well, not largely, Carlsbad is landlocked from a border perspective. There's some infill stuff happening. There's a couple new developments coming, an amazing park that's getting built right now. There's always going to be infill opportunities, but there's no like to my knowledge, I don't think there is room for any more like mega master plan communities. So when that happens, typically what happens is either equity shoots up or we start building up like condos. I don't know that I can ever see Carlsbad ever turning into a dominant condo market, even in the village. I know there's of a couple projects of buddies of mine that are running right now that are definitely dense housing that are happening down there, but nothing like huge like that type of market. I don't think is where Carlsbad is headed. So a lot of most of these communities that really exploded in 2005, they're just hitting the point right now to where they're getting significantly remodeled, which is what's creating all this equity gain because it's more modernized. But in my opinion, and you could mark the date of this video if you want to, and call me in 8 years to see if I'm right or wrong. If you're holding for, I would say 6, 7, 8 years, like I don't think you have anything to worry about. So, what I would be more focused on is buy a home in a great location at a price you're excited about. Like, because when people love their community, the values go up, right? So, if you buy somewhere that you really want, um, like any of the coastal communities like Terramar or the Village or Hanover or Poinsettia Cove or San Pacifico or Waters End, even even a little bit inland Bresci Ranch or anywhere the Aviara like Bay Collection or any of that, like those are very, very high demand areas, and I have a hard time believing that year over year over the next 5 to 8 years that any of those are going to drop. I think you're going to be okay. If you have specific questions about a specific neighborhood, then let me know. Just click below in the description, and I am happy to answer those.